Chapter 19. We'd originally set the move for Saturday because it was Devon's weekend off at the farm. He and Dad alternated weekends, so it wasn't a big deal. The evening before, Ethan had called and asked to meet with Devon, but since Mom and Brittany were coming over to help me unpack, the guys couldn't meet at the house. Instead, I'd heard him arrange to meet somewhere else. Saturday morning, I slept later than I was used to, and was again glad that we'd discovered I could sleep through the worst of the morning sickness. I reheated leftovers for breakfast, and expected Devon to head out to wherever he was meeting Ethan before everyone arrived. Instead, he hung around. He seemed to be waiting for something and stayed long after when Mom and Britt had shown up, even after his mother, Amber, showed up. He didn't seem impatient, just as though he was waiting for something. He carried boxes and shifted furniture as we decided where we wanted the larger pieces to sit. I knew he had to be up to something, but I didn't know what, until Rain's truck pulled into the yard. That made me think he was waiting for information from Rain before meeting with Ethan, but through the front window I saw them talking for a minute before Dev led Rain inside. Devon gave me a kiss and let me know he was leaving, but Rain stayed, doing the things that Devon had been doing, moving furniture and boxes. It confused me for a little while, but I knew Devon was reluctant to let me go anywhere, or even be at home, alone. I began to suspect that he hadn't been able to come up with an excuse Brittany would believe, or he would have left Gavin. Instead, he'd done the next best thing and called Rain. Thinking about it, I suspected that there was an enforcer somewhere nearby, even if we couldn't see him. I didn't really mind. It meant we had someone to do all the heavy lifting. I could have done most of it by myself, but it would have been awkward to explain. Besides, I was humoring Devon by not lifting things. We worked all morning, only taking a break to eat the pizza Devon brought when he came back. Then we spent the afternoon ordering both Devon and Rain. It was a little after 4 o'clock when we finished. There were only boxes of Christmas decorations and camping equipment left. They were destined for storage. We'd put the bed from Devon's apartment in the second bedroom. The rooms in the house were large, and there was still room for a crib to go there later. Both sofas fit in the living room without being overly crowded. They would have looked better if they had matched, but a couple slipcovers would take care of that. Once we were finished, I collapsed onto one of the sofas. Mom, Brittany, and Amber all followed suit. Oh dear, am I exhausted. I dropped my head back and relaxed into the seat of the couch. Me too, Mom said. But it's done now, Brittany added. And you can concentrate on getting ready for the wedding, Amber piped up. Over the course of the day, we'd talked a lot about the wedding, and as tired as I was, I didn't even want to think about it anymore. Yeah, I knew the day was approaching fast, and with only 2 weeks left, we had a lot to do, but I just couldn't take any more talk about it today. We can get together tomorrow or Monday to iron out details and figure out what we need to get done. Mom saw the exhaustion on my face and tried to save me. But we have so little time and so much to do, Amber protested. What about the wedding party? Do you know who they will be? What about dresses and tuxes? I took a deep breath and let it out slowly. Britt's my maid of honor, I motioned in my sister's direction, and Payson and Shiloh are my bridesmaids. Their dresses are taken care of. And the guys? She persisted. Dev asked Rain to be his best man, and Cameron and Tracy will be his groomsmen. I'm not sure if they have suits yet, but I'm sure they will. Tracy already has a black suit, Britt said. See, it's taken care of. I fell silent, hoping she would drop it. But what about decorations? Do you have your centerpieces done? We're not doing a full meal. There's not going to be that many people. I still need to get some of the decorations together, but it's going to be a small, intimate wedding, nothing elaborate. I repeated for about the 15th time that day. I'd had to keep a tight rein on her. She kept trying to get us to invite more people, throw a bigger party. I kept telling her that Devon told me to plan what I wanted, and what I wanted was small. I still felt that we'd been lucky to get the gazebo at the county fairgrounds. It was a beautiful spot for a wedding. Devon came in and we fell silent. "Hey baby. You all done?" I looked up at him. "Yep. The last box is unpacked." He smiled. "Good. Now you can relax." He sat on the sofa arm beside me. "What's the plan for the rest of the afternoon?" "I don't know." I glanced around the room wishing I could take a nap, but not wanting to be rude. "I haven't thought that far ahead." Devon must have sensed my exhaustion and my reluctance to ask the people who had been kind enough to come help to leave so I could take a nap. He didn't have the same reservations. "Mom, after 3 kids, I'm sure you remember how exhausting everything can be when you're pregnant," he tried to be subtle. "I certainly do," Brittany said. "Mom, let's go, let Nicki rest." I can't imagine how tired she must be, unpacking the whole house in one day, even with help. It's been a while, but I remember. If I'm tired, I know she has to be plumb exhausted. They both stood, hugged Devon and me before saying their goodbyes and leaving. "I was hoping to talk about the wedding," Amber told to Devon. "Mom, I'm sure you've been talking about the wedding all day. Nicki's tired. I'm gonna talk her into lying down for a while. I don't want her to get overtired and make herself or the baby sick, but she won't rest if you're here." I think his mentioning the baby was what finally did it. She sighed. "I guess I'll go see about dinner for your dad then." Reluctant, she pushed herself off the sofa and let Devon see her out. He came back and pulled me up from the couch. "Come on, it's nap time for you." He kissed my nose and dragged me into the bedroom. "Did Rain go?" I was ready to talk him into lying down with me, so I could sleep easier. "No, not yet. He's gonna tell me what he's found out while you sleep." I stopped. "I want to know what he's found, it affects me too." "I'll tell you. Ethan's gonna come over in the morning, and I'll tell you both. You need to rest. You've overdone it, getting this place unpacked." He tugged on my arm and I started moving again. I didn't want to admit it, but I was ready for the nap. He tucked me into bed and I watched him leave. My last thought as I drifted to sleep was a wish that he'd stayed with me until I fell asleep.